Hello and welcome to the Ridiculously Good VA Show with Tracy Daviero. If you are a virtual assistant or want to be one, this is the place to learn the tips and tricks you need to become a ridiculously good VA. I've been a part of the VA industry since 1998, and I'm excited to get to know you and help you build an amazing business. Let's go. Hello and welcome to another episode of the podcast that teaches you how to be a ridiculously good virtual assistant. Today, we're going to talk about creating content that stands out from your daily actions and interactions. And I'll tell you what I mean by that, obviously, coming right up. Our quote today is from Lori Ruff. I don't actually know who Lori Ruff is, but I liked this quote. Social media is here. It's not going away, not a passing fad. Be where your customers are on social media. And her name is Lori Ruff. The interesting thing is that when you Google the word content, which of course I did to find my quote of the day, the word content mostly comes up as content. And that's what you get for quotes. So this quote from Lori Ruff kept coming up, and I really like it. I think it makes a lot of sense. Our customers are on social media, and that's what we create content for. That's who we create it for, and that's where we create it for. So it's really a simple idea, and that's exactly what I'm going for in this episode is to keep things as simple as possible. So everything is content. What do I mean by that? Well, a lot of VAs tell me that they don't know what to post about, and that mostly comes from that and the fact, of course, that I see VAs myself posting about being a VA and how great it is. And I always tell you not to do that. And that's my reason for talking about this topic as much as I do. Your content should be for your clients, period. It's not about you. It's not about, how to be a VA, how to start being a VA, what you love about being a VA. There is a place for that. Absolutely, there is a place for that. But it's not in the bulk of your marketing. And if you are struggling to get clients from your content, it's either that you aren't posting enough content or any at all, or you aren't posting the right content. And very, very often, if I do an audit of what somebody is posting, a virtual assistant who is struggling and not getting interaction or clients from their social media, it's often one of those things. So let's dig into that. Think about what makes you stop the scroll, right? We're marketing. People are marketing to you all the time. I know that we get sponsored ads all over the place, and we know that as soon as we mention something near our phone, it all of a sudden, or if we, if we click on a website, if we attend something, if we go to a certain location, ads can pop up. So we are being marketed to all the time. And so our clients. And so we need to think about what makes you, me, us, stop the scroll. What are you interested in? I know what makes me stop the scroll. I like food, I like travel, health and wellness stuff. That's my personal stuff. I will stop on a lot of those things every single time I see them in my feed. Now, if I see them too often, I will hide the ads. I'll do all that kind of stuff, right? But that's not what I'm talking about today. I also like social media. I like to use it. I like to know how to use it better. And I like to learn all of the trends and things that are coming up around it. I like to know what people are doing so that I can help advise you, my clients, on how to use it better. And I like how to stuff. I like inspirational stuff. And I like things that will help my business run more smoothly and, of course, make more money and get more clients. And that's kind of a short list. I know there are probably a lot more things that I'm interested in, but off the top of my head, I know that I stop at those posts on every social media channel. It doesn't matter which one I'm on. If I see posts of that variety or of that type, I will very often stop and read them. Now, that's what you need to figure out about your target clients. And of course, that's why a target client is so important. If we haven't chosen a target client yet, then marketing is really a lot more challenging because you're trying to sort of shout out at, a giant ocean as opposed to speaking to people who are in a puddle, right? And that's really one of the big differences between the target client and not knowing who you can support. You need to know what the target client, what they want to stop at. And that's what you need to post about. Now, You're not going to be the only person that they stop and read. But when they're talking about things that they are having difficulty with in their business, things that are overwhelming them, things that are taking too much of their time, things that are too technical for them to do. These are the things that we tell our clients we help them with on a daily basis, right? Whatever your service offerings are, that is what they are looking for support with. Maybe not directly. Maybe they don't know that they need a project management system or a scheduler, but they know that they're missing appointments and they know that they need a better system to help manage their calendar. Maybe they don't know that they don't manage their time very well, but they know that they're not getting things done. So you need to really translate what the issue is into how you help them, right? And I can tell you what they are looking for and what they're going to stop in their scroll is not about being VA. And why do I know this? It's because my clients will stop at how to be a VA. You guys are my clients, right? I'm a VA coach and trainer. So you guys are the ones who are interested in the day in the life of a VA, how you do things, how whatever. Now, that's not to say that some of the things that you're doing during the day are not relatable for your clients. They very much are. But what I want to be really, really clear about is when I was a VA, the people who paid me, they couldn't care less about how to become a VA. And I see a lot of VAs writing that kind of content and then wondering why they're not getting clients. They didn't care. My clients didn't care what it was like to be a VA or, to start a business or the trials and tribulations that came with it or the great things that came. I love being a VA. This is what's so important. And I can help my clients this and I can help my clients that. What they wanted to know is how I could help them. And it didn't matter to them that I was a virtual assistant. It didn't matter to them what my daily life was like unless it was related to what they were doing in their business too, right? And that was what I was posting about. How do I know that it was the wrong thing to post about? Because that's what I was doing and I did it too. If you're doing that, it's totally fine. I want to shift you away from that and explain why it's important to get really, really clear on what it is that your clients are interested in, because the marketing that you're going to put out for your business has to be about them. Okay. They are the ones you're marketing to, and you have to figure it out. And luckily, I'm here to give you a few tips today on how to do that. And hopefully, I'm trying to give you some really simple information about, where to start and what to do. And by looking at reframing your daily activities and your daily interactions, you will see that content is everywhere. Okay. And everything is content. If you're not sure what to post on your social media channels, I'm hoping that the way I describe it for you today in this episode will help you get the clarity that you need to go, oh, now I get it. I can do that, right? Because you can. And when you struggle to create content, you have to look at things differently. And when you do, just all you need to do is find the business lessons or the common thread to advice that you can use as a comparison to your business, but more so to the support and the help that you can give your clients. So it is about your business, but it's not about your business as a VA. It's about this is how I help my clients, right? We talk about it all the time. It's not sales, it's helping people, and your content is going to do the same thing. People can relate to daily activities and interactions. And I wouldn't suggest that you put all personal stuff and daily interactions as your content, but it's a very, very good way to boost you by adding your personality and put a lot of relatability into your content. If you're not getting a lot of action on your content right now, what you're going to look for is interaction from other people. And when you start to do that kind of thing, you're going to notice a difference. Here's what I mean. So I recently told a story of how I went to Costco and I had a pretty crappy customer experience, actually, customer service experience. Long story short, as I walked in the door, maybe it won't be a long story short, but it's meant to be. As I walked in the door, before I shopped, they told me that the debit machines were down and they said, but we're still taking cash and credit. I thought, okay, I don't have any cash, but I do have my credit. So I went in, I did my shopping, and then I went to the self checkout and the lady there flagged me down And she said, okay. She said, our debit machines are down. And I said, yes, I'm aware of that. I don't know when they went down. So I wasn't there very long, but it's possible that, maybe they weren't down an hour before then. And she didn't know how long I'd been in the store. So that was totally fine. And she was there to, help me with the self-checkout too, which was kind of funny. But yeah, so she said, we are only taking cash and MasterCard. And I said, "Oh, I have an Amex." And she said, "Oh, we don't take Amex." I said, "Oh, okay, I have a Visa." And she said, "We don't take Visa. We only take MasterCard here." Well, I didn't know that because I don't usually use my credit card at Costco. Can you imagine using your credit card when you get into Costco? I said, "No, I need to make sure that what I'm buying at Costco, I have the money to pay for because it helps me, keep below that 200 or $300 threshold that some other people buy." But anyway, so I did not know that, and the girl at the front had not told me that. And so I said to her, "Do you have a bank machine?" She said, "Yes, we do. It's at the front door." Well, another horrible thing, I come back, well, horrible is that's not the right word. But it was a hassle that I went back out, and the fellow who checks the receipts at the end could not tell me where the cash machine was. He didn't either understand what I was looking for, or he just kept saying, "No, we don't have that. You'll have to go to the gas station across the street," was what he said. Not sure if he thought I was asking for a gas machine, but that seems a little crazy. I said to him, "The debit machines are down. I need cash. I need the cash machine." "Oh, we don't have one here." And it was another couple who was actually leaving the store who said, "Oh, the cash machine is right over there at the entrance." And so I went over and got my cash out of the machine. And I don't know why that was working if a debit card wasn't, but I used my debit card to get my cash, and that was fine. And the lady was still at the front telling people, "Our debit machines are down, but we're taking cash and credit." And I said to her in a very kind way, I said, "You should be telling people that you only take MasterCard." And she said, "Why?" And I said, "But because I came through after you told me, and I have an Amex and a Visa, and I can't use those to pay for my order." At the end, "Oh no, we don't take Amex, or we only take MasterCard. Costco has a deal with MasterCard." And I said to her, "I don't know what that means. That's not relevant to me. It was relevant to me when I'm walking through the door and making my shopping decision. Do I have the right credit card?" And so I said to her, "I got my cash." And she said, "Oh, the debit machine is working? That's unusual." I said, "It is." And it was right beside her the whole time. So this was my customer service experience. I went back, I gave the lady the cash, and as it turned out, the debit machines were sort of back up by the time I got back there, but it was kind of a lousy customer service experience. So this is a relatable story, right? I said, even if you are not, if I don't provide massive customer service services for my clients, people can relate to that. So I could find the business lessons in that. And if I talked about policies, if I talked to, if my services in if the services that I offered my clients were customer service, it's a very relatable story. If I created processes and procedures for people, my clients, I could relate that story to it as well. I could talk about organization. I could talk about not wasting people's time and good time management. There are a lot of different morsels that I can pull out of that particular Costco story. And, just lack of communication. We talk about communication in virtual businesses all the time. There are a lot of different things that went wrong in that particular experience that I had today. And that is what we want to bring into our content. That's a very relatable story that I could post, obviously in a shorter format than what I told you here today. But when you're creating content, you can find those lessons, right? And so I think it's really important to talk about things like that as daily actions and daily interactions as part of your content, and relate it, swing it back and say, this is what happened and this is what could have happened. We also just got back, obviously. If you were listening to my last episode, we took a holiday out to Alberta, and we had some amazing customer service experiences from places that maybe you didn't expect to have them. We ate in fancy places, and we ate in very casual places. We stayed in a beautiful hotel, and we stayed at a cabin in the woods, and we shopped at a little local grocery store and gas station. And so that we had all kinds of different experiences. And those are also very relatable. It's so important to be able to reframe what you can see in your daily interactions to see how you can use it as content. It really helps you to create things a lot more. Here are a couple of more examples. When you go to the bank, what do? They spin their monitor around and they show you all the stuff that they talked about. They show you what you have and they tell you about the options that they have for you, but then they also recommend the one that they feel is best for you. And that's the way that you can help your clients decide the best option to work with you. You can use the same process and you can talk about, well, this is just like the bank, we tell you what you have. That's the client's budget. We talk about what you want to do with it and what your, I mean, return on investment, I guess, is probably what your bank is looking at for anything, whether it's a loan or a credit card or, line of credit or whatever it is. Whatever you're looking at with them, they're giving you some options and say, you can do a fixed mortgage or a variable mortgage or whatever it is. And you can explain things in that way for your clients. When we want to talk about being relatable, that's how you do it, is you take everyday situations, you take those everyday activities that you're going through, but they're also going through. And you can relate it in the same way. Say, oh, we're gonna look at things just like the bank right now. Another example of everyday things that we do is laundry. We sort it to wash it. We adjust the water temperature, maybe the soap level or the soap type, the spin force for different textures for different clothing and that type of thing. I actually also sort my laundry to fold it. If you are one of those people who puts the basket beside you and picks out one thing and folds it and puts it aside, that's kudos to you. I can't do it that way. I need to take the basket, I dump it on the couch usually or the folding table. We have a folding table downstairs. Um, and I sort it all. So it's like shirts, pants, underwear, towels, whatever it is. I sort it into all those individual piles, and then I fold each of those piles. I fold all the pants at once. I have piles for my husband and me. So I'll have like 5 or 6 piles, and I can, empty a few laundry baskets at the same time, and I pull it all apart. That's the way my brain works, right? You can fold your laundry any way you want to, but it shows people how you organize yourself, how your mind works, and how you might use processes. And so again, it's just a little relatable thing. If you're going to if you post, day in the life videos and that type of thing, maybe your laundry is one of those things. But you can also describe things. You don't have to do video. You can describe things and, take the laundry option as, this is the way my brain works and this is how I help my clients. I think processes are very important. I like to focus on this or on that, so we look for all of those things. And I always tell you that I'm gonna, do a little video of how I actually do sort my laundry and fold it, because I feel like I do it really efficiently. And one of my very big pats on the back, I guess we'll call it, is that I am really organized and that I do work as efficiently as I can. I think it's very, very important. And so I how you do one thing is how you do everything, is what one of my business coaches told me one time. And I do see that common thread being pulled through a lot of the things that I do. Now, do I always do an amazing job at the laundry? Of course I don't. But when we're talking about marketing and what our skill set is, those are things that you want to bring into it, right? Client stories are also another good thing to use in your content. Tell people what the client was experiencing before they started working with you, and how you help them to get out of it, to fix it, or to make it better. The more clients you have, the more you can use this kind of content. And so you want to be able to look for that, because I think that one of the things that we do is we don't ask for testimonials or referrals or anything like that enough, especially when we're first starting out. But client stories are also social proof. They're really, really good way for you to showcase what you did to help a client, even if it's something really, really small. If it helped, you helped them by finding them a new resource for, travel or something like that, or whatever makes sense for the services that you're going to offer or that you do offer your clients. And as when you're talking about your client relationships, you can even inject your humor into these as a show of how you build relationships and get along with your clients. I have lots of client stories that I've told over the years. Some of them are funny, some of them are fun, some of them are not so good, but they are some of the ones that get me the most interaction with people whenever I am networking, whenever I am posting content. And they're really just things that help to showcase my expertise in my role with the client, no matter what was going on with the client. And it really helps to be able to do that.
conversations that you have with business owners. I think that these we don't even think about because they're not our clients, and sometimes they're just basic, business conversations, and that's it. But even if they're not potential clients, like the people at Costco or the bank or a networking event or something like that, I tell the story often of a woman who was at a networking event that I was at, and she introduced herself to a fellow. There weren't a lot of us there. There were probably about 20 of us there. And so, it was quite a small event. And I think some people just sort of panic sometimes and they're looking for someone to be able to, be a good networking connection. And so, anyway, this woman, she introduced herself to this fellow and she proceeded to talk for 20 minutes about her product. It wasn't a conversation. She didn't let him really talk. He wasn't all that interested because her product was bras for women who have undergone mastectomy. Great product, no problem. But he had zero interest in talking to him or in talking to her about bras for women who have had mastectomies. And she didn't recognize her audience. She didn't realize that she was not talking about anything that was interesting to him. She was doing a really massive sales pitch, and I was sitting across the sort of the next section of tables with someone else, and we sat and listened, and we learned a very very valuable lesson. That was a great, that was a daily interaction for us. That was a very good lesson for us on what not to do, because she lost the like I said, there were only 20 of us in the room, and at least a dozen of us were women. I think there were probably only about 6 or 8 men there. She was talking to one of the only men. She could have talked to at least a dozen women, maybe even as a little group of us, right? Leverage, leverage. And we could have had a lot more conversation, and we could have maybe even given her some referrals for the product that she had based on the women that we knew and how we would relate to what it was she was talking about. And so, for me, that's another really good customer service lesson, or not, that's more like a networking lesson, I guess. But it's something that I talk about a lot, and I get a lot of interaction when I tell that kind of story, right? She needed to know her audience, and she just didn't. She couldn't see that she was talking to a wall, and she literally wasted that entire networking event. That it was an in-person event. She wasted her whole time going there because she left with literally no leads or contacts because the fellow just wasn't. It's not like he said, my wife just, had this and this was it. He gave her nothing. He just sat and listened and listened. And as a matter of fact, he wasted his networking opportunity as well. So we want to make sure that we're always talking about what our clients are interested in, but we're also talking to the right people, right? Another thing that you can see, or that you can post about, is something that you've learned. If you talk about it step by step, people are interested in that. If you went to a webinar this week, tell people about it. I always say that whatever you learn, you should implement in your business, but it can also be really great content for you. Say, oh my gosh, I learned the coolest thing from Facebook this week because I went to a webinar from so and so. You can link them or not, but it's about, hey, I am doing some I'm doing my own education. I like to learn and I like to implement these things into my business, but I also like to share them with people like you because I know that they're very interesting for you as well. Again, that's going to be content from your everyday interactions and actions. Are you seeing what the way I'm kind of putting things together for you? It's all about relatability, isn't it? So if you have a morning routine, talk about it. Did you learn a lesson from a conversation or an interaction? Talk about it. Did you notice a new trend in your daily surfing? We are all on our phones and on our social media so much. What are you noticing? What are you seeing? Talk about it. Um, did your clients ask you some questions this week? FAQs are really, really big in terms of content. It helps you to be relatable to the people that you know. If you have a target client who asks you a question, or if you were in a VA group posting something that you knew the answer to, how did you help somebody in anything this week? Talk about it, right? When you step out of the mindset of marketing, thinking that you have to sell, and I'm not sure what to post and I can't figure out what I should be doing here. And you just start to look at it as being helpful and talk about what you're doing and talk about how it relates to your clients and their businesses. That's the key, right? How is it relatable to the people that you want to pay you? You're going to create much more interesting content for your clients to consume. And when they do that, your personality is also going to stand out, right? Now, I'm not talking about doing endless TikTok videos or anything like that, but when you start to just be you, people definitely notice it. And when you're marketing, you do want to get noticed, right? Visibility is everything. What is your point of view on something? Share your perspective. It showcases your opinion and your expertise, but in a relatable way. I want to really make sure that we're always talking about being relatable. It's not business all the time, or it's not selling all the time. It's about sharing and helping. And the more you do that, the easier it's going to be for you to create content because it's just going to become more natural. It become your habit of how you do things. How do you start your day? How do you end your day? People love the day in the life thing, but you don't have to do video all the time. You can actually video I find so much easier than doing a lot of writing. But how do you stay on track for deadlines and time management? Very relevant to all business owners, right? So the things that you're doing in your daily activities as well in your work, it's not just about going to the grocery store or Costco or, doing the laundry. Um, but those are relatable topics, things that other people do as well. How do you stay organized? What is it that you do, or what tools do you use that help you stay organized or meet deadlines and that kind of thing? And how can you help your clients also do that better? Because that's often what they work with us for, right? And what do your clients say about working with you? You're going to write your own content for the most part. You can also curate stuff from other people that you follow or that you trust. And I think that even that shows, I think, tells the algorithms, that you're doing a good job as well because you're sharing things from other people. And while we're on it, you want to be able to repurpose content as well. If you write one weekly blog post and you repurpose that into 10 or 20 pieces of other content, that can go a long way in putting things out that are cohesive and interesting to your audience, right? So how do you do that? It's very simple. If you decide on four main topics that you know your audience is interested in, then you rotate those topics every week. So you always have something different to write about. But what does that do? That helps you, okay, with your 4 week cycle of weekly blog posts. This week I'm writing about money. Next week I'm writing about mindset, whatever it is. You go through and you figure out what those things are going to be. But then, as you are doing your regular surfing or you're doing a little bit of research and that type of thing, you get to look for the content as you're surfing and the daily activities to find things that are relatable. My topic this week is such and such, or my topic next week is such and such. You'll start to look and find the things that are relatable in your daily activities this week and all the things that you're doing, your interactions and everything. It makes it so much easier to write and to create. And then you just break up that one thing into 10 or 20 pieces. After you write it, you can make images, you can do tips, captions, photos. It really gets easier the more you do it, and the more practice that you get. And once you start, it really does get easier, especially as you start to get interactions on it. But really, when it becomes easier to create it, right? You don't have to post 10 Instagram stories a week. One blog post a week. You can do 3 to 5 other social media posts on one channel. You just need to make them good and keep at it. It's not about frequency whenever you're looking at things that are good, right? When you are maximizing your, what do we call it? Optimizing your everything that you do. Like I always tell you, you need to make sure that the work that you are putting into something is giving you results. And that doesn't mean that you're going to post a few things and all of a sudden get clients. But when your clients are looking and finding you or seeking you out or researching you, you're going to be able to showcase what it is that you can do. And I think that that's the most important thing. You want to change the way you look at everything all day long. You're going to see the content when you look for it. And keep a notepad, or I use my phone notepad all the time to keep some form of notes if you're out and about. Think about what you've done, traffic, or like I say, all of those, did you go to Jimmy's school, or did you go to Jimmy's soccer game and see some parents or see some interaction with, different levels where you see a teacher and a parent and a student, and somebody in a parking lot. Like, how can you relate those four people to people in business? You want to look for those things, and when you can really change the way you are looking at everything so that you can find the content nuggets. They're not always there, but they might be there, and you don't want to miss them because it makes things easy whenever you can actually. I wrote a business post. I wrote a blog post a few weeks ago on business lessons from the demolition derby, because I went to our local fair and I could just see it, and I thought, oh my goodness, these are really good little lessons that I can share with people, and I got a lot of interaction on it. I got some feedback on it, and I really liked it. It's something that made me a little bit more relatable because I was just out at our country fair over the weekend, and then it that turned into me talking about volunteering and me talking about the interactions that I had with people, and how some people are very organized and some people aren't, and that it just becomes content, and it becomes a lot more effortless whenever you are looking for it. When you become inspired by what's going on around you and who is around you, and you figure out how you can help people with that, it makes things a lot more fun too. What you're looking for is to have them stop scrolling and get them to look at what you're doing and relate it to themselves. Say, that does make sense. That is what I need. And it helps them to know, like, and trust you a lot faster so that they will take that action in order to work with you. Visibility is everything, but you have to be interesting as well. And to be interesting, you have to be interested in what your clients are interested in. You're not being interesting just for yourself. You're being interesting so that they will stop that scroll and they will be interested in what you have to say. And that's the key, right? You have to be interested in what they're interested in. And that is what you need to do. If you need some help figuring out how to create better content, you can reach out to me at tracy@yourvamentor.com. I've helped hundreds of VAs through their challenges and got them on their way to the next thing, and I'd love to do the same thing for you. I do private coaching, and my new mastermind, the Virtual Circle, registration is open now. Maybe one of those options is for you. That's all I've got for you this week. Thanks for tuning in to learn how to become a ridiculously good virtual assistant. See you next time.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Ridiculously Good VA Show. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. For more great resources for your VA business, visit my website at yourvamentor.com. I'll see you back here next time.